water so cheap? And my understanding is that it's delivered at a price point that's way below the cost of production in just about every country around the world. And I wonder why that is.
Water is used inefficiently and actually wastefully in almost every sector in every economy of the world. And that didn't matter if it was abundant and costless. But
Mhm.
as you get to more marginal uses of water, that framework becomes a much more challenging thing to preserve. And this is kind of the basis of my work and others who look at the value of water in thinking about, well, how do we move from the status quo, which may have served us okay historically, but is clearly not going to serve us well in the future. And what can we do and what can business do proactively to put us in front of this?
Well, you mentioned businesses being proactive on this. My understanding is that some of them are already taking steps to try to address the artificially low cost of water. I wonder if you might be able to walk us through, particularly this notion of shadow pricing.
When you talk to business are the first to recognize that a value reflective approach to water is what they want and need for their own industry. And actually, there is a surprisingly high appetite from many companies to say, if a framework for pricing water that reflected the different value that people got was introduced and supported but in a good regulatory framework, actually there's very little pushback against that because everyone can see the benefit in using water efficiently. What businesses rightly say is that they don't want, no one business wants to be, called out for how they manage this. This needs to be done systematically across sectors and done appropriately. But if it was done like that, there are actually specific advantages for the companies themselves. If you can let me give you one quick example of that, Jay.
Please, go ahead. Yeah.
If you can imagine that you are the water manager of a big I don't know, food and beverage company, you're managing a water facility in country X. And what you want to do is you want to improve the water efficiency of your plant. Typically, that water manager will need to go up the chain to the CFO's office and ask for the capital that they need to make that improvement. And the CFO will quite rightly ask the question, well, what's the return on that investment? Like, what's the payback time? Now, if the price of water that's coming into that facility is really low, for example, then actually the payback on improving its efficiency may still be a really long time away, right? Because the value that you're saving from efficiency is going to take a long time to repay. But if you're using a value reflective tariff, which may highlight the value of that water to that facility, that may prompt a higher internal price to be used for that calculation. And the attractiveness of that is it makes the investment case for improving water efficiency in that location much stronger and much more tractable for the finance function to make that money available to the production facility. So the interesting thing about water and shadow pricing and so forth is that it's not the case that uh, companies themselves are intrinsically against it. They just quite reasonably want to have a transparent framework that is robust, that is applied consistently, and that can support companies to make the decisions that they fundamentally want to make, which is ensuring the sustainability of the resources that they use. And what we've seen in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years is a large number of companies beginning to think much more systematically about how internal pricing or shadow pricing of water can be applied to their investment case.